It takes me 1 minute, so I thought I'd do that.
Smart. Good morning, everyone. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning. It is June 9th. This is the Broadwater County Commission meeting. Welcome, everyone. Started with our regular business from the Broadwater County Open Meeting Policy, also known as the Civility Policy. Broadwater County follows Robert's Rules of Order. The purpose of this policy is to open Broadwater County public meetings to all county citizens. We realize we have a fiscal and fiduciary responsibility to conduct county business as efficiently as possible for all Broadwater County residents. Commission meetings are recorded and on YouTube, so please state your full name prior to public comment for the record. Any separate conversations need to be removed from the meeting and conducted outside. Outbursts will not be tolerated, and public comment will give each person who wishes to speak 3 minutes to do so, and all comments should be directed to the board chair. So with that, do we have any public comments? Public comment? Linda.
My name is Linda Booth, and I would like to comment. I'm a few meetings late to do so, but I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners for deciding to have an HR person. I just hope you realize how very important that is and what a valuable asset it is to have someone who is a professional doing that and not getting 3 or 4 hours a year training on it and winging it, and it's just, I compliment you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. John, did I see your hand up?
Yes, my name's John Wright. I have done this before, and I'll do it one more time because I have a follow-up question. This is on the United States Court of Appeal, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, which you are a Jane Doe, and Elaine, you are a Jane Doe, fully processed. And pay attention to this, because the elevation of what you do today in the next few days will be what I do next, as far as due process of the law. Now, my next question is, not a question, demand. If you do the resolution for a prosecuting attorney, I demand, under my constitutional provisions, to the full maximum enforced by this, the United States Court of Appeals, that Carla, being physically and mentally ill, which she's confessed right here in this chamber, and her conflict with all of the other things, if she brings in a prosecuting attorney, she must resign immediately, without question. Is that understood?
Anything else, John?
Do you understand?
Do you have any other comment?
Well, I'm asking the simple question.
This is your public comment. Thank you very much. We have heard your public comment.
Thank you, I wanted to admit it.
I'd like to submit that for the record. Thank you. All right, any other public comment? Public comment? All right, we will get on to the Montana Minute. Franklin, do you have anything good to say about our state or community?
Well, I attended the memorial for John Flynn. I thought that was real good. And if you notice, they got his picture up there now. There was probably, I don't know how many people was here. It was pretty well filled. And a lot of people spoke. And good little memorial, I guess you'd call it.
All right, Elaine.
I do. I want to say hats off to the graduating seniors this year. They received a total of over $100,000 in scholarships to go on with their education. And I think that says a lot for our school and for our community.
I spent last week in Philadelphia on a training, and I tell you what, the greatest thing about traveling is coming home. As wonderful as it is to go back and visit that history, really where our country started, coming home to Montana is icing on the cake. So with that, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We have our next appointment at 10:30, so we have some mail to do. We have minutes from May 27th, 2014. Those were sent out via email for all three of us. And we did not have a meeting last Monday, so we just have the one set.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of May 27, 2014. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next we have timesheets. Debbie, who is our new accounting manager, sent out a memo a couple weeks ago, and she'd like everyone to fill out timesheets. Elected officials are paid by salary, so it doesn't matter how many hours we work, 2 or 40, we're paid for the same amount, but she would like timesheets and signatures from everyone to receive a paycheck. And we have from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, just kind of some updated information on internal distribution. Well, this is for internal distribution, but it's kind of a rundown of what the projects are that are going, and there's one for each of you. I got one as well. And those are due here in about 2 weeks' time.
So do you sign as chairman, as the employer?
No, as
Debbie
you,
does?
no, you guys would sign your own. Just one signature is fine, since you have no employer other than people. It's just your signatures. And next we have from the Department of Public Service Regulation, Montana Public Service Commission. This is not happening here. It's like so many other things, but just if you know somebody in this area, you can let them know. And it's just a final order, public hearing on, let's see. Oh, they're changing some of the, arms, sorry.
Capital taxi, huh?
Yeah, exactly. This is from the Helena National Forest, National Timber Sale, Mrs. Sandbar Whiskey, RHR sale. And this is just a notice that has been advertised in the Helena Independent Record, and it will be at 1 o'clock, 6/27/2014.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is that on the Townsend District?
I don't know, but you can certainly look at it.
I don't think so, because it's in Township 15. That's not Broadwater.
Next, we have from Heather DeGeest, District Ranger, from the U.S. Helena National Forest. The Department of Natural Resources and Conservation and the Forest Service entered into a cooperative agreement for Red Mountain Flume Chessman Reservoir Stewardship Project. And this is just a letter to let us know about it.
I think this is in Jefferson County,
Yeah.
because Red Mountain is in Jefferson.
Next, we have, I'm not gonna read this, it's a page and a half, but it is the budget memo from Debbie. It was sent out electronically, I just wanted to be sure you guys had seen it.
I did see it.
Thank you. And next we have a letter from the Cascade County Commission. I'm not gonna read the whole letter, but basically due to increasing costs, they are going to be increasing the daily charge that they charge counties like Broadwater for housing juveniles in their facility from $217 a day to $235 per day. And this will be effective July 1st, 2014.
Laura, can we get a copy of that?
Absolutely, there is a copy that you'd be more than welcome to read in the commissioner's office, or if you want a copy to take home, we can go ahead and get that for you. You can just pick it up in the clerk and recorder's office.
Daily rate is right up there.
It is. But I don't think we've had an increase from them for quite a while.
We haven't, and they are by far the least expensive in the state. The cost for an adult is $63, so it shows you what the difference is to house a juvenile.
Say that amount again.
An adult, to house an adult is $63. If we were gonna send a Broadwater County citizen to Bozeman, for example, it'd be $63 a day. A juvenile is going to be $235 a day after July 1st. And that's because with juveniles, you have to provide teachers, education, everything continues for them. They're not just put somewhere and left alone. They have a lot more services provided to them than adults do. And I think that's it for that. A lot of people have commented that the hospital should be run more like a business. Well, they started that. They got the CT scanner. If you guys saw the building, it's up. That should be a revenue generator for the hospital versus like an ER, which is just a money loser for most cases. But these are for each of you from the public ceremony for the CT scan. And the cost for the CT is by grants. So it's a benefit to the citizens, but is not costing Broadwater County citizens. And I have a couple of claims here that I just need your signature on to put in the pile.
I think we've moved both ducks yet.
No, but they're on the verge. Right, I have claims in the amount of $29,274.69.
I'll make a motion that we approve claims in the amount of $29,274.69.
One second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $29,274.69. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you. And we have payroll in the amount of $142,213.88.
I'll make a motion. Pay payroll. Come out and listen.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to pay payroll of $142,213.88. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Think we're gonna get paid this week, that's why you're here.
Sounds good.
All right, that is it for mail for now. How about Commissioner's Community Update? Franklin, what'd you do this? 2 weeks, I guess.
I went up, there in Crow Creek, Steve Marks, with the Elkhorn Restoration Committee, masticator up there. It just, really a big brush cutter mounted on a pretty good sized skid steer. It was pretty interesting. It was sure take one of them big old cedar bushes right down. And I see, what else did I do? I had it written down here somewhere. Oh, and then I already said I attended that memorial for John Flynn.
I was also in the memorial service for John Flynn, a very nice service, and hats off to those that put it together. Beautiful picture of John right here at this table. And they also fixed one just a little smaller and gave it to Debbie. And I was checking roads. I've been way up on Duck Creek and also Ray Creek.
So you've been busy.
Cruising around.
Yeah. I also attended the ceremony, and if anybody hasn't seen the picture of John, it's right behind you. They placed it there so that it was right over where he used to sit, which was right here, and he's facing the jury, which is of course what he did. The other thing is I did attend that conference in Philadelphia. It was funded entirely by a private philanthropy, Annie Casey Foundation. And it's on juvenile detention alternatives, which is appropriate since we just learned that the cost for juveniles is going up to $235 a day. The idea is not to create criminals out of kids who've made mistakes. Some kids are a danger, need to be sent to juvenile detention, but if there are kids that are not, having an alternative for them is probably a better way to go for society as far as, and as for those kids as well. So the Annie Casey Foundation has been working on that for some time now. Every year, it looks like 4 different states get to be part of a project to receive grant funding and put together a plan, and that's where Montana's at. Right now, one of the neat things about the conference was getting there. Some of the things that Montana did decades ago or a decade ago, other states are just now starting. So again, especially in the area of public safety, Montana's been a leader, and we continue to be a leader, and I think that's something we should be proud of. One of those examples, well, 2 of them, the Hope Card. If you file a restraining order against someone, instead of having to carry around pieces of paper and produce that, and there's no picture, so an officer doesn't necessarily know who's referred to on the piece of paper, the Hope Card you stick in your wallet. It's the size of your driver's license, and it has a picture of the person that is not allowed near you. So an officer can see that and know exactly what's going on in that amount of time. The only state in the union to have it is Montana, and Montana is showing other states what we did to get it. The other thing is legislation. We started the conference with a documentary called Kids for Cash, or Cash for Kids. And it's on Amazon Prime if anybody wants to watch it. It's $4 to rent it. But what happened in Philadelphia a couple of years ago is a couple of judges were prosecuted for taking kickbacks for sending kids to detention facilities, kids who ordinarily would have been sent to the principal's office, truancy, those kinds of things, were finding themselves in detention for 7 years, up to 7 years. These kids came out criminals, drug addicts, alcoholics. One committed suicide. I'm sure he wasn't the only one, but he was showcased in the documentary. So in talking about that in one of the breakout sessions, Montana passed legislation in 2009 that would prevent that from ever happening here. What happened is the state-owned detention facilities were all closed down. A private company came in, opened up and said, we can't open unless there's a guarantee we're gonna have so many kids a year. So these two judges started taking kickbacks for sending the kids to this detention facility. So both judges are in the federal pen at this point. And then I was reading the NACO News, National Association of Counties, and the MacArthur Foundation is also working on juvenile detention alternatives. So I'm not sure if the two agencies are working together. I will certainly look into that. But they had a conference in Chicago this week. So one of the tracks that I was on was also mental health, which we know has been a huge issue in Broadwater County and Montana. So the two are related, and realizing where those relationships run parallel can help us target money to taking care of the problems jointly rather than money in this silo and money in this silo. When we can add it together and take care of it, it's a little bit more fiscally responsible and gets the job done a whole lot more quickly. So that was it as far as the conference.
Can I add to that?
Mhm.
On Dateline on Sunday, I think it was, there was a program and it was about juveniles, and the judge's name, they referred to her as Mean Mary. She had been an alcoholic and she recovered, and they showed about 4 or 5 different kids and walked them through and how some of them made it and some of them didn't. It was very, very interesting what they had to do and how she worked with it, you know, I mean, she had to figure out, this kid, this will help him or it won't, you know,
Mhm.
but it was very good.
One size does not fit all.
No,
Wow. Thank you for that. I'll look that up. Also, this week is Board of Crime Control on Friday, so if you guys have any issues you want me to bring forward, I'll be putting that to the other county commissioners as well. But if you guys have anything, just let me know.
will do, thank you.
All right. With that, we're 4 minutes early. I think that because our agenda says that our times are subject to change, we'll go ahead and bring Dana up 4 minutes early. Road and Bridge monthly update.
Well, we don't have a lot, but, I think I talked to you about our FEMA, stuff. And we're gonna end up with about $110,000, just shy over that, sometime here down the road, to help put gravel on Pond Lane, out here on Shelley, and a few other little spots around, you know, we'll leave some for Tossin down, and a few spots out on the Crow Creek up there, so. Get that fixed up anyway, but I don't wanna do too much till I see some money coming in, to come up with money to pay for the gravel we get, so. And we're just trying to clean up a few roads, just patching a few holes and whatnot that we've kind of neglected here. But that's coming along. We're milling this parking lot here, 15th of July. They changed that from, you know, the first of the month.
Till the end of the middle of July.
So, yeah, and I helped Mike last week. We got the post pulled out of that over here by the, you know, where the tank was, and I'm gonna give him a hand tomorrow. He's gotta put some posts in right here by the sheriff's office. He's gonna pull those 2 barricades out, you know, that are blocking the, access there for the electrical boxes outside the cellar court. So he wants to just put some posts there and then out in front of the generator shack, so I'll help him with that budget, you know, I got my expenditure budget kind of taken care of pretty much, but I'm just waiting for Debbie. Now, I don't know how soon she's gonna have these other reports done. You guys got any of that information?
She's working on it. Doug was just balancing last Friday, so I would imagine any day now.
Okay. It's just nice that I get that stuff taken care of here, so. I'm assuming she'll get a hold of department heads.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah. I'm guessing it'll be with the memo, and if anything is, you know, majorly different, she'll probably give you a call personally instead of waiting for you to contact her.
Okay. I was contacted last week too by Eric Griffin over in Helena. They lost their Mackers rep over at Jefferson County, and he is wanting me to take his spot. And he said one of the main things they need is commissioner support. There's gonna be meetings, a few meetings here and there to go to, some other stuff. You know, I don't know exactly what yet, but,
How often will you be meeting, Dana?
well, at least 3 times a year, maybe 4. And I don't know, I think this is like a 3-year slot, something like that, so.
Can you explain a bit more what it is? What the job entails, what,
Well, Mackers is just, it's the Montana Association of County Road Supervisors. It's gotten bigger every year. This last year in Great Falls, they had record numbers. I mean, it was like 380 people, you know, commissioners, supervisors, crew members, you know, stuff like that. So it's actually growing pretty good. From what I understand, I don't know a whole lot about what the reps are really required to do, you know, in the full aspect, but some of the duties, they're supposed to get a hold of everybody in their district when there's gonna be a meeting, encourage them to go to the meetings, try to set up like some kind of a training thing somewhere, you know, throughout the year. And this zipper thing out here would be one of them if we did that, so that would take care of that. And then they just kind of, you know, go to the state meetings and, you know, your regional meeting, you know, if you want to go, but it's just to keep the county supervisors and road crew all on the same page with standards and, you know, things that are going on throughout the state, so, you know, it's basically just a big information situation going on, but. So anyway, I guess if you guys feel that, I need letter support if you feel it necessary, so.
I'm guessing that our district meeting that we had just a couple weeks ago, Tom Rice is the president of our district, or our region, excuse me.
Is that Mako or Mackers?
That would be Mako, but it's
Okay.
kind of parallel, just so that if there's any questions as to what you've described, that's a parallel that we witnessed ourselves. So just helping to clarify if there's any questions.
I think we can do a letter of support. I think to have Dana there, we'll get information quicker than if we just wait. And I think that's to our advantage.
So,
It doesn't cost us anything because
No,
Mako
it's-
pays for your travel to those extra meetings. If there is any
Mackers, I don't
cost.
know if they do or not.
Double check on that because
Well, I
Mako
will.
does.
I know Mako,
Yeah.
but Mackers, I'm not sure.
Right.
So, but I've got to kind of let them know what's going on here next year also.
So do you guys meet like we do for a district or an area, say a region?
Well, they've got district meetings, and then they've got all districts come together, you know, a couple, 2, 3 times a year. You know, for, I think there's like 4 districts, 5 districts throughout the state. So, you know,
It's kind of the same for us. There's 12 districts that are broken into regions or added into regions. Any questions, Franklin, on what's being proposed?
No, fine with me.
you see, these are
Not
guess
manager, you need
these
to
are
Take
districts.
it on.
Well, I can, I mean, I don't have a problem doing it, I just, back there feel, kind of honored to even be, brought up for it, but, I mean, I'm busy here too, so.
Your district runs pretty similar to what the county commissioners does. Beaverhead, Madison, Jefferson, Broadwater, Marr, Gallatin, and Park. We also have Lewis and Clark in ours.
One more thing, I don't know, Nicole, she's not up here. I was discussing this silos thing with her too, this subdivision road thing. And she's come up with a little different scenario that we may want to imply rather than, and we were just gonna throw it by you guys, and then you can talk to her too, but, we were talking last time about possibly having a meeting and seeing if the folks at Silos want to have us dump the county roads. Nicole and I came up with an idea that maybe we just ought to plan on dumping the county roads. And she's got some stuff figured out down there, how to make everything fair and whatnot. As far as the RID, whatever, homeowner association, so. And I'm not, she was working on it the other day too, so.
So would you do an RID?
Well, if we just got rid of the roads, just dump them off the county books. And, as far as maintaining, then I think she said they would have an ultimatum either to come up with an RID that she would manage, or a homeowners association like all the other subdivisions. And then figure out what to do with the money that's left in the RID. So, and that's kind of was her thought. And it sounds good to me. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it. I mean, we've got another one up on the hill here it's not a problem, but we're taking care of a couple roads there that for some reason we have been since the thing got in there. And in my opinion, we shouldn't. There's still 2 county lots up there, and I don't know, that belong to the county. And I don't know who's in charge of those, where they go. Do you know that there's 2 county lots up there?
I knew it was a county subdivision, but I just was under the assumption they all sold. No, I didn't know that.
There's 2 lots up there that are still county.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Fork up there that's county property.
Well,
What? Okay. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I have no idea.
Do you want to visit with us next week on the agenda with Nicole?
Well, we
On
can,
this?
she was gonna try to get up here, she might figure out too, but, maybe, probably.
Okay.
Just get rid of that checkerboard area that's in the silos there now.
Yeah, I'd like to, I mean, BSC's take care of it anyway.
Mhm.
We just, some of the funds come out of mine to take care of the county part, and then some come out of the RID, so. She was still checking on how many people were in RID and how many people were actually not in RID. Or if everybody was or not, I don't know. It's kind of a complicated process.
Well, that is a nightmare, that one, because one road is and one road isn't.
Well, the problem is, those are the only 2 in the county that we even mess with.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be messing with them.
Mhm.
I mean, they should have, in my opinion, their own homeowner association or an RID situation that somebody, okay, we need some work done, well, Nicole, here you go, here's your money. Or somebody,
And I can't remember how that ended up that way. I was clerk recorder when that took place, but
And Nicole said, she thought that it was just like, okay, here's some roads, we're gonna give them to you.
Without a lot of thought and deliberation.
But that was a long time ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that kinda started small and just kept building and building, and pretty soon roads were created.
And I don't know, Will, if Will remembers or not, did we ever go in there and grade all those roads?
Not all of them.
Just a few of them?
There, it seemed like there was about a half and half, you know. Even some of the roads are half and half.
But even before I came here even, I mean, did you guys ever? go in
Not
there?
completely, no.
So. Anyway, but yeah, if you wanna just put that on the
Okay, all right,
agenda, discuss that.
10:30? Okay with you?
That's
Okay, all right. As far as the Mackers leadership role representative, you both said it was okay. How about we put that on as a motion and a second?
So moved.
Did you make it? What'd you say, Lee?
I said so moved.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to support. Dana's being requested to be a representative with Mackers and to write a support letter to that effect. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. If you would just let us know where that letter needs to go.
I would just say mail it to Eric Griffin,
All right,
out of Lewis and Clark County.
okay,
'Cause he's the one that contacted me. I think he's kind of the, heads up stuff. So,
okay. I think that it is an honor for you. I think it's also a nice compliment to Broadwater County. So, thank you for being willing to do that. And it'll be extra hours for you.
yeah, maybe.
Knowing your work ethic, you'll make it extra hours.
Okay, that's all I've got, unless you guys got something.
No, and you said you was patching, are you putting some hot mix or patches in?
No, we're just hauling some gravel
Oh,
in a
okay.
few holes and whatnot. We're gonna be working out Crook Creek here in the next few weeks here. So
You know, you started that, there on the
we're
bridge there.
goes right now, so.
Okay, the bridge we're crossing, some of those chunks have broke out from the
Oh.
frost back and forth.
Okay.
And would you take a look at the middle fork of Ray Creek?
Yeah,
Kind
we
of
haven't made it
shingles.
there. We're,
On my case about it.
yeah. Yeah, we were there once and we went somewhere else, so, but well. I got TJ over there working on a few of those. Okay, my guys came up with a proposal on some stuff. This is my letter of support, and I think Will or somebody's gonna present stuff. And their letter is underneath. So, is that what you got for me personally here?
Yes, I do have one quick question. This July 17th, that's the demo, right?
15.
15th, okay. All right, I just wanted to be sure.
And then they'll get a hold of me, I believe that if you guys wanna be here for that, it's on a Tuesday, just to kinda see how the thing works. I mean, if it's not costing us a lot of money to get this ground up, we'll come back in after we're done and grab up the ground up material and haul it down to the shop, we can reuse it. So, and that'll help Mike as far as getting these other guys in here and regrading things out. We may be asked, or you guys might be asked, I've tried to deny a bunch of this stuff. Some of the work hospital wants over here. They want a little bit of stuff, and I've told them that I'm busy, and so they may ask you. So you-
Where that propane tank sits, is that our area or theirs?
I think it's ours, but I don't know that. All I know is we're gonna grind it.
Okay.
But you're just gonna grind half, or are you planning?
We're grinding the whole thing,
You are, okay.
all the way from,
Street out
Oak
there.
out here,
Yeah.
over here to Maple, so.
Okay,
And as close as we can get to the buildings, without a bunch of extras there, so.
Now, refresh my memory, where's that guy coming from?
It's coming out of Idaho.
Okay.
And all it is it's a big carbide bit grinder that they put on the front end of a bucket on a loader, and we'll use our loader. It grinds pretty good, I guess, so. And they'll have some donuts and
coffee or whatever, and I believe he'll probably end up getting some people from maybe Jefferson if they wanna come over, Lewis and Clark, Mark County or something, just to do it as a demo, so.
Excellent.
Okay.
Will that be your first job as Metro Macros rep?
I guess.
No, nicely done.
All right.
All right, gentlemen, are you the spokesperson, Willie?
Kinda.
All right.
I don't know how that happened. That's okay. But I guess as spokesperson, I'll say, thanks for opening up a time slot for us to come meet with you. And we kind of all put our heads together and looked at a bunch of different information from all over the place, and this is what we came up with. I was gonna go ahead and read this.
Okay.
That way I won't get lost. Mark, TJ, and I have no experience with how to put together a proposal, so I contacted Brian Holm, and the reason I did that is because he had been successful in putting together a market adjustment, and so I kind of picked his brain a little bit. He said that he had gathered information from other counties and populations similar to ours so that we could make a fair market comparison. Using that as our standard, we contacted Toole, Madison, and Jefferson counties. That gave us numbers from counties that were both smaller and larger than us, and we figured that that would be reasonable for our market comparison. But we do have to admit that putting this together was a lot more difficult than we expected. It seems like every county has its own way of doing things. They title things differently, different names for job descriptions. Then you have your operators all have different experience levels. Their job requirements vary and their demands vary as well. We tried to determine what we would be making, the three of us, with our job description, our experience level, and the years that we've been working with our with the county here. And all the numbers we are using are what these counties have been getting paid for the last year. And as we talked to them, many said they were expecting either a COLA or other increases, so that the numbers we're using now would even be lower than the ones that they'll be using here very soon, because they'll be getting some jumps. So to start with, the first area is the per hour amounts. We talked to a number of different counties, and many of them have a probation system where you start out at a smaller percentage, like 80%, 85%, 90%, and you work yourself up. Usually it's in 1 to 3 years where you get up to 100% of their scale. So if we averaged what these three counties would be paying us that determined that Mark and I would be making just over $20 an hour, and TJ would be making over $21 an hour. So that is something we would, of course, like to see, that if we could see those numbers changed up to that. All of the counties that we are comparing ourselves to have longevity pay. Some are figured on a per hour basis, and some use a set amount for the year. And we thought we'd go ahead and ask for longevity benefit of $100 per year for each year worked at the county. And longevity pay would be paid in addition to our regular hourly wage. And then lastly, the third thing that we considered, many of the counties that we talked to provide cell phones or reimburse their employees for using their own cell phones. And we have been using our own personal cell phones for county business or to communicate with each other, or when we're unable to get each other on the radio. Let's see where I'm at. We've been doing this for many years now. We don't want the county to have to supply us with a phone. All that really means is you got another thing to take care of, to lose, to charge, to whatever. But we would like to be reimbursed for using our phones. And as we said, the most we found counties reimbursing was up to $45 a month for phones, but we had heard that Broadwater County is already reimbursing some at a rate of $20 a month. And so we would like to start being reimbursed for using our phones for the county. If possible, we'd like to go back to April 2007 and be reimbursed that far back. That's when Mark and TJ started. We've all been using our phones pretty constantly throughout the time. So those are the three areas, the per hour, longevity, and cell phones. That pretty much covered, you know, the things that we were interested in addressing.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any questions from the board?
I don't believe so.
On your cell phones, I agree with you on that. I don't know about going back to 07 or not,
Okay.
you know. That we'd have to think about, I think, or I would. But otherwise, I definitely think you deserve it.
Well, it's my understanding there's problems with the radios.
You know, the radios are always problematic, and it just seems like we've had more than our share of problems, and we get them worked on, and then they don't work, and we get them worked on, and they don't work. I don't know if every department's running into that, or if maybe we're just unlucky, or what the deal is, but it just seems like you'll get your radios worked on, you know, okay, they're working great, and then they don't work, and then pretty soon you're picking up everybody else, and you try to get that fixed, and then pretty soon they don't work. And it varies a lot. There's a few radios that seem like they work most of the time, but most of our radios have problems some of the time.
Weren't you supposed to get some new radios? Did I?
We lost that grant. You were supposed to get some new ones, and they wouldn't have had the problem because they were connected to the trunking system.
Sure.
And so, you know, that would have alleviated, but we lost that grant when, you know, everything kind of fell apart a year ago. So now we're back to you guys are using your phones.
Well, we actually got radios 2 months ago.
Yeah, we got some of the older sheriff's radios.
Sheriff's
Okay.
radios.
And we did some work, you know, they're a little better.
Yeah, they're a little bit better, but there's still some issues with them.
How many dead areas are there where you would be working in the county?
You know where the radios don't work?
No, where your cell phone wouldn't work. And maybe the radios too, I don't know.
Mountains, pretty much.
Actually, I can get out just about anywhere.
Yeah, I've got,
Dry
it's,
Creek Canyon, you can't get out.
well, I get on right.
Rardsburg country
Not
is.
everywhere.
Not everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even like in
They work
Rossville,
most places.
I'd say probably 3/4 of the county we can get on.
I know there's been a lot of, well, one time when Dana was up on top of Ridge Road and I was on top of Dry Creek and I couldn't talk to him on the radio. But if I'd had my cell phone or had a text plan or something, I could have texted him, told him, hey, I'm stuck, I'm in trouble, I need help. But that isn't the case right now.
Well, it looks to me like for safety's sake, you need to have something where you can communicate together.
And really, it's kind of interesting how the radios or the cell phones work and don't work. Because about the time you're sure your radio isn't gonna work, it does. And a lot of times you're really glad. So sometimes the radio works even when you're not expecting it to. You try and you go, oh, good. You know, I remember getting stuck one time and I thought, there's no way I'm gonna get anybody. Because I knew where he was heading and I'll try it. And I got him. And it was really good that I got him. I've been there a long time.
You'd still be there, huh?
I might still be there, but yeah. So but you never know, and it's the same with the phone. Sometimes you're thinking, oh, I know I can get out with my phone here, and it's dead, and you can't figure out why, because you're right out in the middle open. You know.
We might miss you in about a week. Come looking for you.
Well, I'm hoping, but anyway, yeah, so, but with the both of them together, we've got fair coverage using both of them, so. We haven't had really that much trouble when we've had phones and radios to work with.
I agree with Elaine, I think it's a safety issue. What you just said is not okay for anybody to be in that position. I think for the county to be safe. So, what I would suggest, if it's okay with the board, is we can discuss these two separately. What I would like for the salary part is what numbers you got from the other counties, even if it is with different job descriptions and, you know, even if you have the range that they gave you, also the longevity.
We've got, I think I might have. I do. We've got these. The top are the numbers that we use to come up with the amounts. And at the bottom, we were just making a comparison of the number of miles of road that each county has. And, you know, like we say, for yucks, wanted to show the number of miles you have like per operator to cover your county. And so if you look at the bottom, that's also down there too, just get an idea of what we're doing or how much we're responsible for.
The road miles is quite telling. They're at the bottom. Jefferson County has few less miles than we do, double the employees. And you guys are each responsible for tremendously more than any of those other counties. That's interesting.
I figured those, you know, it says for the 14, 15, and 8, I took one off of each one for the supervisor because he's not full-time. He wouldn't be grading all the time or hauling all the time. So we figured like Broward County, we did 3, 2, 13, Madison 15, Jefferson 7.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's more realistic that way.
Can we have these?
Yeah.
Thank you guys for putting this all together.
Sure.
What I would like to do is put this on the agenda for next week. Give us a chance to mull over the different letters, the numbers, and then discuss it and make a decision then, if that works for the board.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Fine with me.
unless you guys want to make a decision now, you know, I don't want to.
I think we need time to look it over.
Okay, all right.
Sounds
Right,
good.
we'll put you guys on the agenda. What time works for you? 11 o'clock?
I guess whenever you said.
Yeah.
Would it be easier for you guys to meet in the afternoon?
How late do you guys go?
We can go as late as you need us to.
They can meet anytime, really, I mean, it's
Yeah,
just whenever,
we can.
whenever they need to be here.
I'm just trying to.
Is 3 o'clock too late?
For first thing in the morning?
Either
Well,
way.
that's 6 o'clock.
Okay, I'll go. But,
Right.
I just thought that way it's over with and you, whatever project you're doing on, you know where you'll be for the rest of the.
Yeah, whatever works best.
Why don't we do 3 o'clock, and then that way you guys have the full day to do your work on the roads,
Okay.
and then you can come in and,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Does that work for you guys?
Works for me.
All right, 3
Fantastic.
o'clock it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for your consideration.
Thanks for your time.
All right,
Thank you.
folks.
Thanks. All right, it is almost 11 o'clock. We are right on time. We're 5 minutes early. And
You know,
Go ahead.
In reading Dana's letter in support of his guys, I have to comment that one thing I don't see here is how many times they get called out on emergencies. And, you know, I mean, last early winter when we had such a snowstorm, and those guys were working till all but around the clock, 11 o'clock at night. And,
The solid waste department and the city crew both get, they have different plans, but when they are called out on an emergency, they automatically get either 2 hours pay or 4 hours pay, even if it's for a very short time. These guys are aware of that and haven't even asked for that. So I think that's something for us to take into consideration as well.
well, the truth of the matter is, in the last 7 years, they've gotten 35-cent raise, increase. No, that doesn't count COLA. I mean, one year we gave them a dime,
Yeah,
and that was almost a slap in the face.
well, they were frozen
Yeah.
3 years ago?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna start, I am gonna start early. It's a public hearing that we have next, but even though we will start early, if somebody else comes in 3 minutes, they will have the ability to also speak. So, this goes again to these issues and times are subject to change. So we're gonna close this regular commission meeting and an open public hearing for authorizing prosecutorial assistance in district and justice court. Before we take public comment, I just want to share just a little bit of background with this. This is really just housekeeping. We've already voted to move forward on this, but because we're doing it a little bit differently, we do have to have a resolution. This is something that happens all over Montana. It's akin to a surgeon not being able to operate on his own brain surgeon. You have to have somebody else do it. County attorneys all over the state, and this happened with John Flynn as well, find that there are certain cases that are a conflict of interest for them, and therefore they need somebody else who can come in and prosecute that particular case or investigate it. Broadwater County has hired Tom Budowitz most of the times in the past, and multiple times in the past. In that case, the county paid Mr. Budowitz for his time as an attorney. Carla has the same situation where she is one of the victims in the case and therefore cannot try the case. There is a definite conflict of interest there. So what she did is she reached out to a fellow county attorney. The way that works, it's kind of a professional relationship that they do for each other. We will not pay this county attorney other than for his travel or materials, but Valley County will continue to pay for his time. So again, we have to bring in somebody new because there is a conflict of interest. What we have, I will read the resolution.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah, please.
It isn't just conflict of interest. I served on a jury when John Flynn was the attorney, and it was a murder trial, to be real honest. And he brought in someone from the AG's office. So John Connor was here. So it's not just a conflict of interest.
It'd be expertise too.
Yes.
Yeah. And perhaps that was the case too with Rolling Glen, which started before you and I got
Right.
here. But I would imagine you'd want somebody with serious
Mhm.
expertise when it comes to subdivisions.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is good because Broadwater County won that one.
The county
Sorry to
attorney's,
interrupt.
No, I'm glad you did, thank you.
Pardon me?
What's that,
the
Franklin?
Attorney General office has been good, working with county attorneys on cases. I remember the one, when Connors was here on that homicide case. But they'll work good with county attorneys. When you have a county attorneys willing to work with them, they're real good at helping.
I
Yes.
think part of the problem is that they're so busy now that they can't get out to help as much as they'd like to be able to.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, I think, a reality of the situation. But this is common practice in Montana. The resolution authorizing prosecutorial assistance in district and justice court cases. Whereas the Broadwater County Attorney has requested prosecutorial assistance in certain causes in First Judicial District Court, Broadwater County, and/or Broadwater County Judicial Court as deemed necessary, and whereas it is desired and deemed appropriate that a special deputy county attorney be appointed to assist in the prosecution of the aforementioned case, and whereas Montana Code Annotated 742705 authorizes the Board of County Commissioners to employ special counsel to assist in the prosecution of any such criminal case pending in the county on request of the county attorney, and whereas the Broadwater County Attorney has requested that a special deputy county attorney be appointed to prosecute causes pending in the First Judicial District Court, Broadwater County, and/or the Broadwater County Justice Court, and whereas Nicholas Murnion, Valley County Attorney, has agreed to act as a special deputy Broadwater County Attorney in pending cases, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Valley County Attorney, Nicholas Murnion, shall be appointed as special deputy county attorney for Broadwater County for the purpose of assisting in the prosecution of the pending causes, and that he can fulfill the functions set out in Montana Code Annotated 44-4-103. It is further resolved that under the terms of this agreement, no fee will be charged for attorney time provided by the special prosecutor in these cases. I'm going to repeat that. That under the terms of this agreement, no fee will be charged for attorney time provided by the special prosecutor of these cases, Mileage will be paid at the current rate of 56 cents per mile. Witness fees and expense, jury costs, and other normal costs associated with the trial will be the county's responsibility, as with all other prosecutions. So, with that, are there any public comment? Or is there any public comment? John?
My name's John Wright. In the aspects of Carla requesting a assistant for trials, as I understand it, she has not had a trial, since she was first appointed, and then she was so-calledly elected. She hasn't had one trial. Is that the reason we have to, or we need a assistant, or is it only because of her conflict with so many different people, including myself? Question again. Do we need an assistant because our county attorney is incapable or unqualified to handle a trial, which she has not had? Now, can you correct me?
I will correct you, John, you're 100% wrong. There's a trial pending that she's been working on that she sat here in court on Friday for with the horses.
Well, yeah, but that may be the one.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment on this? Linda?
I have a question. My name is Linda Huth. How long would such a case take?
I don't know. Good question. I mean, I would guess. And unfortunately, Carla is out of the state at a training right now. So,
Well, if it's going to run into when she is no longer going to be county attorney, I wonder why it's even a consideration at this time.
and it may just be for that very reason. You do not want to have something going forward with one attorney that then has to all but start over again with a new attorney. So bringing Nick in would keep the consistency. It's one person working on this to the end.
So when we would have a new county attorney who would have no conflict with it, then this guy from Valley County keeps going with it?
Yeah, he would certainly work with whoever the new county attorney is. One of the things about Nick Murnion is his experience. He prosecuted the Freeman in the 90s. What we have going on here is parallel to what happened then. The fact that he's asked to be involved, the fact that we're not paying him, is actually a good thing for the county. Any other comments, questions? Tim, did your hand, was it raised?
Linda beat me to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
you bet.
Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
I remember one discussion on this, and I thought that Budowitz was going to be asked first.
Mr. Budowitz is willing to assist Nick, but it will be in that direction. One, cost savings. We're not paying Nick, but we would have to pay Mr. Budowitz. The two is that experience. Nick has already been through this, he knows what he's doing, he helped write the laws. So, with him being disinterested, it's really a nice gift for the county to be able to go this route. John?
I have a question. Have y'all consulted the two officers that are running for the county attorney job, which apparently one is ahead of the other? Have you consulted them what they want to do rather than what you want to do?
First off, they could be here to offer public comment, they could certainly call or email. They are, however, both aware of the situation and both have stated that they think that something needs to be done and needed to be done months ago. Not in the future, but actually months ago in the past. So I'm not going to put words into either one's mouth, but neither has stepped up to say they are opposed to this, and both have stated this needs to be addressed, and needs to be addressed not yesterday, but many months ago.
And I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
John Flynn, as we all know, was a part-time county attorney, and at times he did need an assistant. Carla is a full-time plus. Isn't there something out of whack?
No, because this has nothing to do with time, John. It's been stated and restated that she is a victim in this. Carla is one of 5 elected officials, district court judges, and 2 estates, John Flynn and Nellie Sayer, who are victims in this case, who have liens against their private property to the sum of over $5.6 million. She cannot prosecute this case regardless if she's full-time or part-time, because she is a victim. She is named in this case. So we have no choice but to bring somebody else in. So, any other public comment? Trudy?
Trudy Southwick, is Nicholas, is he up for reelection this year?
I don't know. I don't know. So,
Maybe we
Good
should
question.
check on that, because if he is and is beaten, then where does county stand? If the lawsuit is in the middle.
well, the county would be no worse off, in fact, still better off than if we had hired a attorney we were paying from day one versus perhaps maybe a little bit at the end.
But they
So,
would still have to start over to get up to speed on the case.
not
If
necessarily, no.
somebody new had to come in,
Why would somebody new have to come in?
unless you're just planning, unless they would just keep him on, whether he was a county attorney or not.
I would imagine that we see it all the time with new attorneys that come on. They have a responsibility, and they uphold that responsibility to finish all the cases. So I would assume that that would be the same with him as it has been with so many others that we've worked with. Any other public comment?
One more
Bob?
Bob Brastrup. I'm highly in favor of going ahead with this, getting it resolved. Nick Murnion has a great reputation, and I think he's an excellent choice for this. Let's get it going.
Thank you. John, did you have another comment?
Yes, I did. This man has been selected. I have a severe and total in court as well as out of court conflict with him. And I have no trouble proving it. So that's another question.
All right, any other public comment? Public comment? All right. To the board, again, this has already been voted on. Like I said, this is, excuse me. Sorry, I am going to actually close this public hearing, and we actually have a decision on this scheduled at 11:45. So we will bring this back up for a decision at that time. Any comments from the board? All right, so moving right along, we're still a little bit early or ahead. Again, because there will probably be a little bit of public comment, we will move forward with the 11:15. And this is a resolution confirming the creation of the Mental Health Council. The Mental Health, whereas the Mental Health Local Advisory Council, HLAC, was established pursuant to 51-21-702 MCA to report to the Mental Health Oversight Advisory Council, MHOAC, as part of the statewide mental health care system. And whereas the MHLAC also collaborates with Service Area Authorities, SAA, in planning, implementation, and evaluation of regional public mental health care pursuant to 53-21-1013 MCA. And whereas the MHLAC has requested the active support and participation of the Broadwater County to improve public mental health services, and whereas it is the desire of the Broadwater County Commission to ensure that all boards are created per applicable statutes and in uniform fashion, now therefore be it resolved, the Broadwater County Commission hereby confirms and the creation of the MHLAC and determines that the MHLAC shall become comprised of not more than 10 voting members to be appointed by and serve at the will of the Broadwater County Commission. The MHLAC shall consist of 50% consumers and or family members of consumers and other members to represent the following entities: County Commission and or Townsend City Council, Mental Health Services, Law Enforcement, Justice, Medical Services, School Representative. Members shall serve staggered 3-year terms except for elected officials whose terms shall be 1 year and shall be reviewed for appointment annually by each commission. Term shall commence on July 1. Members shall not be reimbursed for mileage or expenses and shall not be granted a per diem or salary for conducting the work of the MHLAC. The principal mission of the MHLAC is to assist in the improvement of public mental health services in the local community and to provide input and recommendations to serving the community. So before we open the public comment, anything from the board? Okay, we will close this regular meeting and enter into public comment. Is there any public comment? Any comments? Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen Schnur. I'm Broward County's representative on the Center for Mental Health Governing Board. And that's a 13-county organization which provides mental health services in 13 counties. And Broadwater County is one of the few who has not so far gotten involved in the process which was set in law and the code you mentioned in 1995, I believe. We're coming along, everybody's getting there. And so, in order, especially because Center for Mental Health has had a real difficult time in the last year with finding service providers and so forth for this community, and they really strongly encouraged us to, as a county, get going on putting our input into the state, into the regional mental health organizations so that we get what we need, the services that people need in our county. And have to have the county's blessing and yes, the county's assistance to do our work. We've had 4 meetings. There are 10, 12 people that have indicated an interest that are representative of the groups that are described in the resolution, and already had a mental health first aid class on the 12th of May, which was attended by 10 people and I think very well received. We need, though, some help from the county with things like letter writing and posting public notices, and we are supposed to have a treasury, but we, as our little group, have no authority to administer money or to handle money or to have a bank account. That has to be overseen by a governing agency, the county. And that bank account is not going to be huge money, it's not going to be lots of tax dollars, but it will be money, a lot of it that people have generated through fundraising, through bake sales, through hikes, whatever, and that money is to be spent promoting mental health in our community. We just need a way to officially administer that sort of thing. So appreciate your support and the support of the public, and we have a real enthusiastic group that will move onward and upward here and improve mental health services in our county.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Tim?
I commend everybody that's been working on this. I think I made a comment in an earlier meeting that, our deputies with our local law enforcement, this is a public safety issue, and we need to move forward. We've been at a loss for quite a while now, and I think it's great that we're taking steps to move forward to resolve this loss of ability to serve the citizens of Broadwater County.
All right, any other public comment?
Just briefly.
All right.
I've been asked to be on this committee, and what's an old printer doing in this for? I'll just briefly explain it. In retirement, I was on a business advisory group that was asked to help with a managing recovery grant for the Center for Mental Health that they had gotten in Helena. When my term was up with that, helping them with that, I was hired to that. I stayed on as a volunteer and so forth and so on. I got to know a little bit about how this works over the last 3 or 4 years. And as a past politician, city council, hospital board, I want to say everything that came to me, and I assume to you, nobody ever came with policy or asking for money for anything bad. We always had to sort out the good from the good, what you legislate and what you propose. And I remember I was on the lagoon committee, and we had to fix the lagoon instead of fix mental health and physical health and education, and human waste won out over human condition that particular year. But having said all that, I'm trying to be sensitive to the difficulty you guys have and what you have to do. But some of the statistics, we lost our mental health center here a year or 2 ago, and having my nose in a little bit in Helena and working in the day treatment thing up there, the need for a crisis is nothing else. You know, what do these police do when they pick up somebody in crisis who's psychotic over whatever? And if it can't be a facility here, we've got to work on something to get people in and out of Helena and fund it and do whatever we have to do. And I could go on and on about statistics, about how much improvement there is in reincarceration, reinstitutionalization, people staying on the jobs, homelessness goes up double if you have a quality, recovery-based mental health program. Much is said now about, you know, all the criminal aspects of mental health issues that just happen to get in Las Vegas, you know. And that seems to be driving it in, you know, the push for more mental health facilities. And I think that's good, it's driving it, but, you know, the people that are severely mentally ill, that have criminal tendencies, is
Very small.
a very, very, very small amount. Most of it is what we could do here by getting this going and doing whatever we have to do. And I don't know what it is. I'm not a therapist, I'm not even a caseworker. But if it gets done properly, it's not just, you might say that shooting, it's much like you put together peer groups like the Montana Retailers Association or the Montana Trial Lawyers Association or AA. And if you get peer things going, God, that's one of the best things you can possibly do, people helping people. Or maybe some kind of a jobs thing, or whatever it might be, I don't know. But it's gotta be done, not for the criminal aspect, just for people's lives, families.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Public comment? All right, any more public comment from the board?
No, I just honestly think that this is a no-brainer. If we can help people, we need to be doing it. And I think we can help people this way. And hats off to Mary Ellen and everybody that serves on that board for the time and effort that they're putting into this.
I agree, and this is another housekeeping issue, just the resolution. All right, any other public comment? Last call? All right, we'll close this public comment, public hearing, and open one more, and this is the resolution to adopt the floodplain ordinance. It is 52 pages long, and if it's okay with you guys, I'm not gonna read it. The reason we need to have this, DNRC came through Broadwater County about 2 years ago, is when we had our first meeting, and they have redrawn the flood maps. This ordinance is required in order for anyone in Broadwater County to purchase flood insurance. If we don't adopt this ordinance, no citizen can have flood insurance of any kind or flood protection of any kind. Our road crew just received $110,000 from FEMA to help with road recovery from the flooding. So, you know, those types of things will also be put into jeopardy. Again, it's 52 pages. We've been sent a copy. There has been a copy for anyone to look at. If you do want a copy, anyone is welcome to it. I would suggest that we electronically send it to you because it'll save you a lot of money as it's 53 pages. So, any questions from the board before we go into public hearing? All right. We'll close this regular meeting and go into public hearing on the ordinance to adopt the floodplain regulations for Broadwater County. This will be first reading. We will do this again next week and then vote on it at that time. So is there any public comment on the floodplain regulations? Public comment. I didn't think we would have any on this one. Anything from the board? All right. We will close this public hearing and re-enter our regularly scheduled program. So we have decisions. On the prosecutorial assistance resolution, any comment from the board?
I think we've said everything that we can say.
I do too.
I think it's just go forth.
All right. So is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Is there a second to the motion? Franklin, are you going to second? Okay, I will second the motion.
I did it the first time, so I'm not going to do it now.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the prosecutorial assistance in District and Justice Court cases. Resolution, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I think we're just jumping way ahead. For one thing, we'll have a county attorney here in a few months, and I know how good they work with our Attorney General office works with county attorneys. They're willing to work with them, so that's my reason to stay by it.
This issue that we have been dealing with has been going on for years. Most of the offices in the Broadwater County Courthouse have what we call panic buttons, and they're buttons that's alarm goes off in the sheriff's department for deputies to be in that office within minutes to take care of situations. It is due to that situation that we are addressing this ordinance, or this resolution. We also have a number of 9 employees who have filed complaints at being intimidated, threatened, and in their offices, who've had people who are subject to this coming in and demand that all work for the county stop so that hours can be spent on this individual or individuals' individual projects. This is not okay. No employee, whether they work for the government or not, should come to work and have to live in an atmosphere of intimidation. And Mr. Schubring alluded to what happened in Las Vegas and what happened in Georgia. Those are situations that we cannot continue to say, oh, it's not a big deal, we'll just wait till tomorrow. 2 officers were shot in Las Vegas while having the audacity to have lunch. They were shot in cold blood. An officer was shot in Georgia, and the man returned to the federal building wearing a gas mask and bulletproof vest. He was tackled and arrested. Yeah, we can certainly decide to wait longer and longer. This has been going on for years. So we'll move on then. This is the resolution to create the Mental Health Local Advisory Council. Any comments from the commission?
I think it's time to do it.
All right, is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the resolution confirming the creation of the Mental Health Local Advisory Council. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Excuse me?
Question.
Yes.
Regarding the resolution, now that it's adopted, we can move forward with creating officially the committee with those positions listed. Is that now going to be advertised in the paper for solicitation of members, or has that already been?
It already
signed as
has
soon as
been.
done?
Like Mary Ellen said, they've met 4 times. This is just housekeeping. All these resolutions today are just housekeeping.
What's this here for?
The one that we just passed.
Oh, okay. The mental health.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, and the floodplain ordinance is first reading. We will bring that up again next week. We do have a COS coming at 11:45. So, anything else from the board? All right, I do have just a quick question. We have a couple of issues in different neighborhoods around the county. So I would like next Wednesday to plan a meeting in Winston to get started on Dana's desire to start talking to citizens about whether or not they want a countywide mileage, miles per hour signage and ordinance. And then the second one is to address the speed zone, if that works for you guys. Okay.
We're gonna have to canvass the votes anytime after today.
Anything from Doug on that, Anna? You wanna set anything up?
June 12th is the earliest date for the county canvas. June 17th is the latest date for the county canvas.
Okay. We usually do it at 9. Would that work next Monday for you guys? Okay. And we'll do that upstairs, or in the downstairs now? In the office again?
Okay.
Does that work for you guys? Okay.
So what is the date then? It's
Monday the 16th.
16th.
How many
No.
provisional ballots were there, Ann, do you know?
I believe about a dozen, but I'm not positive.
And they can open those today,
That's my understanding.
run them through.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you should have brought this up at public comment, but I just remembered, one of the citizens asked me last week regarding the work that's being done in Deep Creek or being planning for mitigation. I asked, are there any of the FEMA grant monies going to be released for individual citizens to do repairs on Deep Creek? Or are the monies only being intended for the county infrastructure such as roads and or bridges?
No, that's why there's a citizens
And so-
group. They'll want to get involved with that because I'm not sure what the parameters are. But there is a citizens group connected with that mitigation grant. And if there is any money that will go to any private citizens, it will be through that venue.
They just wanted to ask the question here at the meeting, just make sure you folks were aware that there are some questions there.
What is that person's name and we can follow up with them?
Tim Wilson is one. This is an email that I got from him. Owns the old Deep Creek Bar.
And anyone else?
There's a
City
guy
as well?
across the street, I don't have his name with me. Also asked specifically what the program is for, what's going to happen there with the right of way and the bridge there, and some of the damage that's been caused by.
All right.
So,
What I understand on that grant, if there is gonna be help for any private individuals, it'll be, and they'll have to come up to their max of 25% themselves. That's what I've heard so far.
I think probably one of the questions that is kind of behind the first question is if there is any money is what is their process afforded to them to understand how they can move forward in identifying qualified projects versus unqualified. And I'm not sure whether we need to get Sean with WWC notified that they have those questions.
If they are interested, they actually need to work with the Citizens Advisory Group on that. And Sean is working with that group. But they'll need to work as a group. Individuals are not going to be able to work as effectively as the group. So they need to get involved with the group that's already been established, already has traction, already has been working on this. And that's as easy as I'm making a phone call.
I will pass that on.
The other thing with Mr. Wilson is, he is working with Morrison Merrily on his issues right now. And I think he should stay with Morrison Merrily rather than trying to engage the services of another engineering company for his own peace of mind and his own project.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks for bringing those up.
I think that a lot of the problems, that some of the misunderstanding, I think, is back when this all started back in 2011. Mr. Kleiner was making some arrangements that were maybe premature in ideas and or some promises, and so these people are, well, I was told this back then, is that still in effect? I think it's just an opportunity to clarify what the facts are on there.
And again, thank you.
I guess we don't have anything right now. I just have to tell you that at the John Flynn Memorial thing, lots and lots and lots of people got up and told stories. And one that really tickled me was Tom Arnsmeyer. Well, Tom's wife had worked for John before John ever got here as a county attorney. But he said, I can also tell you a story. He said, when I had John in an algebra class, they had the problem and they were supposed to give 4 different answers or ways to solve this. And he said, and I can tell you flat out, he turned in 4 pages. He said, John, there's no doubt you're going to be a county attorney. Tom's wife, Lynn, was John's secretary, was secretary here at the county attorney's office before John got here. And John got here and all, and Lynn went home and she said to Tom, oh no, they sent me a baby.
Anything else that needs to be on the agenda for next week? Okay. Public comment in Montana Minute. Mary Ellen Schnur, Montana Health Quarterly Update. Nicole Brown, County Planner, and Dana Rouser. Nicole Brown, COS's road crew. We should do a Justin Journal entries.
Mhm.
That would be for,
Me?
yeah, all right.
Does Debbie need to talk to us about budget at all, or?
I'll ask her. She hasn't mentioned anything to me, but I'll ask her if she does. All right, I think we'll just sit tight till we have the COS in just a couple of minutes.
Just FYI, here's a claim to Cascade County Regional Youth Services for 2 days. And it's $345.